Okay, we just talked about the gas, expanding gas, and what we want to talk about now is why we have been, how we have come, the basic fundamental approach to unitary theory, and why we think spin, gyroscopic precession, would be so important in uniting everything in unitary theory. That is the way atoms work, and the way our universe works, how magnets work, how what we view as, and we have called gravity since Newton's time, why the Earth would attract, why a magnet would attract, the electromagnetic field, how these events are all tied together. Well, of course, we're put ourselves out here on a limb, and we're going to say we think it's spin. The gyroscopic precession that is developed in an item or an object or that spins. And when it spins, of course, it sets up a plane of rotation, and this is very, very important. It gives us everything from our right to left, from top to bottom, all of these things. Now, the reason we're going to feel very secure in doing this is because we're going to approach unitary theory with set theory. That is, like mathematical approach. It's in set theory, and I'm sure most of you folks, especially mathematicians, will appreciate this, is that we're going to use the tools that we have right here at hand, and we're going to say, okay, what do we see? And what do we may not see, but we see the effects of? Well, gravity, inverse square, Galileo's, rolling balls, Newton, the apple falling, putting all this together and giving us calculus, but still understanding that there is an inertia point. Although motion is infinite, and there's a term we need to work on, is infinite, and everything is in motion. If it's in motion, how could it stop being in motion? And why does it have these points of change? Well, of course, a precession would give us our first point of change, how you can change an item that is in spin its direction by applying force. And also the other thing, how can you apply force in space against two items and have an effect? Well, the force that you're applying has inertia, and it acts like a tire on a pavement. When the tire hits the pavement, it's spinning and it goes in the direction of its spin. Well, we would call the pavement inertia in Newtonian calculus, and in our calculus, or the bullet that leaves the weapon. Well, mass itself, as it moves through space, any atom that would have spin would have inertia. So therefore, when two atoms meet, they have the inertia of the spinning plane. Okay, and these are parts of our set theory we're going to put all together. We're going to use this. Now, if someone can bring a different part into this set theory, and if we use this as set theory and we start explaining from the items in our bag of explanations, we have a model, and that model it has these limited things we observe in our natural environment, and what physics and math is all based on. And that's the other point I wanted to bring out this morning. These two factors I was talking about, expanding gases and inertia of an atom. So when we apply force across space, and what we see being applied across space is visual energy, and that energy, since Einstein, has now been turned into mass, and we know energy and mass, and we come up with explanations. But what we're seeing here is the application of mass through space, and we can call it transmigratory mass, because it takes a number of different forms, very much electromagnetic, but we know that we're in the magnetic field of the sun, and inverse square is going to give us, and that's one of our bags, since Galileo, rolling balls down, that's another point. And we're going to outline all this, and these are the things we're going to work with. Now, if someone can bring in something else here that they've observed in the natural phenomena of things, then we can bring that in there. But right now, our bag of tricks is inverse square, math, physical nature of a spinning item, and atoms that we now know exist, the atom bomb and other things, radiant energy, and we know that we're going to have to put all these together, and we're going to say that all atoms are in motion and they are in spin, and this spin must be a very dramatic part of the puzzle. And inverse square is a very dramatic part of the puzzle, and that's going to explain just about everything we're going to work with in unitary field theory, to unite all of the forces we see, electromagnet forces, with gravity and with the universe. Okay? Thank you.